Say, kids, what time is it? PDR tool time.
Hey everybody, this is your host, John Hiley, coming to you with a new episode of PDR Tool Time. I'm chilling here with Daniel Grom, Vince D'Alessandro, and we're waiting on Mr. Mike Toledo to jump on in here and help us kick this all-new episode of PDR Tool Time off the hook. So how's it going, fellas?
Good. How you doing, John?
Doing good, doing good.
How you doing?
All right.
Chilling.
How was your week? Or how's the beginning of your week? How's that?
The beginning of man, it's been hectic for me. But, I lost a guy, and you guys already know that. And it's always an adapting, so I'm still trying to adapt and roll with the flow. But it's been good. It's actually real good to...
Hey, I want to put a warning label out there for guys that have been buying the PDR Tool Time t-shirts. Disclaimer here. If you wear the shirt, you will be attacked by strange women.
Oh.
Last week I was wearing it, and I had all these women hitting on me, and I'm like, what's going on? Is it a new cologne? It's my shirt.
All right.
It was my shirt.
Were you walking through San Francisco, like down through the homeless encampments down there, or what?
No, man. I'm talking fine women. Fine.
Yeah.
Man,
leave me alone.
Those shirts are starting to fly off the shelves.
They're very sexy, so you need to get one of those T-shirts and then take a picture and post it on PDR Tool Time in exotic locations. We want to see, or put it, if you got a good-looking girlfriend, put it in the washer, shrink it, and get it wet, and put it on her, and send us a picture of it.
Make her tie a knot in the front of it as well, right?
Of course, some
front.
Daisy Dukes.
Right,
yes.
right.
Or in the back. The knot could go in the back too. Either way.
Yeah, whatever works.
Either way. So what we're going to be talking about today on this episode of PDR Tool Time, we're going to be talking about the advantages and disadvantages of owning a shop. So many of you guys know that I own a shop location. I also offer mobile repair, and I did mobile for years. And I don't think Daniel offers mobile repair. However, he has a shop, and Vince has a shop, and Vince kind of does what I do. I mean, he offers mobile repair as well. And Mr. Mike Toledo, he does full-on mobile, but he does have a shop that he uses with another company. I'll let him explain a little bit of that. But
he's looking at getting a shop. That's his goal. And we're hoping this show helps him.
Right. And we were talking, this show could go on literally for hours and hours and hours with all the stuff and all the details that we could get into this. So we're really not going to cap this. I mean, we're just going to start here. We're going to do our normal show. And you know what? If we pick up on it a little bit later on, then we'll just continue with it. And
yeah, we'll revisit the subject a lot, I'm sure.
Right. And, we thought about this, and we're like, hey, with all the older hail techs that may be looking to retire or settle down, and all the techs that are getting in business saying, hey, I don't want to run around and do car dealerships anymore. I want to open up a shop. We just thought that this would be I know that it's going to be a very useful topic to a lot of technicians out there. So let's go ahead and kick it off here.
Let me ask you this question, John and Vince. When you first decided, what was it that made you decide to open a shop?
Go ahead, Vinny.
What was the motivation there for both?
My goal was to be in a shop by the time I was 40 years old. And wow. I turned 40 in April, and I moved into my shop in May. So I was a month off.
Why was that a goal?
It was a goal because I knew as I was aging in my career that the idea behind driving 100 miles a day, doing 6 to 8 mobile jobs a day, Monday through Friday, it was wearing on me. And I really wanted to have a centralized location which added a lot of convenience for myself along with the customers. And whenever you're dealing with a brick and mortar, I think it adds a lot of you're not a fly-by-night company, and I always take the perspective of a potential customer. And when you're strictly mobile, I always felt in my gut that people thought, well, I hope this guy does a good job because I probably will never be able to find him ever again. Where when you have a brick and mortar, they know where you are. They're a little bit more comfortable coming to you. And that was one of my major factors of just legitimizing my business. And also, John and I were talking about this earlier, an exit plan, where when I do go to sell Dents No More as a company, I have a brick and mortar location that's already up and running that I could sell a lot more than just selling Dents No More. Me, the person, the technician, is really what am I going to get for that? Besides training someone and getting them up to speed. So it was, my idea was long-term goals. My long-term goal of getting a shop by the time I was 40. I'm now 42. I've been in there 2 years now. And just building the business to make it more legitimate. Not saying that mobile is not legitimate. I did it for 19 years. But it just was part of my exit strategy.
Right.
What about you, John?
Well, I'll tell you, to be honest with you, I didn't go out with the attention that I needed a shop. It kind of it came on me, So many of you guys know that Dayton, Ohio had a massive hailstorm in 2011. And what had happened was I linked up with a couple body shops that I was doing business with, and my very first shop was an off-site location in an industrial park for these body shops to funnel these cars and to funnel my hail team through this one location. So essentially, we were going to the body shops, picking up cars, and bringing them back to this factory. If you could imagine a factory warehouse the size of a football field with 30 to 40 cars packed in there all at one time and 3 rows of technicians working front to back, that was my first location. And what we did was we actually leased out half of a building called Dayton Wire Wheel Company. So any of you guys who have heard of the Dayton Wire wheels, maybe like Dr. Dre videos, cars bouncing up and down, gold rims. Well, it happened to be that them wheels aren't as popular, I guess, as they were back when they were really popular. And this guy had this massive part of his factory that was available for lease. So we went in there and we picked that up for a year. Well, after that, that hailstorm was so big that at the end of that year, when it was right around Christmas time, I actually went and got another location. So here's the deal. He'll lease us the building for a really decent price, but he's not going to turn the heat on for that price because to heat that place would probably cost more than what we were paying for the rent. So I ended up going around the corner, leasing another building. It's all in an industrial park. And then little by little, I got to know the landlord there, went to another location that held about 10 cars, got hit with another hailstorm, packed up that location, and I think even Gary Bishop, he came up and he was checking out the whole, it was an awesome spot, but it was way at the back of an industrial park. And I'm talking about, you drive down an industrial park like a quarter mile down the road, it was the last building on the left-hand side. So literally, we had no traffic at all unless you were going down that road to go to one of them buildings at the very, very end of the road. Later on, I'm in this building, right? And I got this guy hooked up where I'm just paying month to month. I'm not even under a lease with him, so I can pretty much walk it anytime. So right around the corner, a body shop came up for lease. And I basically went in there the day that I seen the sign go up. I called the owner of the building. He came down and met me at my other shop that I was currently at around the corner. And I ended up leasing this building that is front row center downtown of one of the wealthiest cities in our area. So we're actually in the nicest location, probably one of the nicest corners in our entire city. And I'm talking about a 40 to 50 mile circle around this area. We're sitting in the top notch, one of the nicest locations. So essentially, year after year, we continuously get hit with hail. And you guys know that, I'm booked out right now in training for 4 or 5 months. And because of that, or actually I'm booked out till maybe not that long, July, I'm booked out to the end of August. And I have to have a location now, the way that my business is set up, because I'm supplementing hail damage cars. I'm getting hail damage vehicles. And again, like Vinny said, I mean, if people are going to drive from 45 minutes away to drop off their hail damage car with me, it's really reassuring when this tattooed, bearded dude walks out to talk to them beside their car that I got a really nice location. So it's that's how it all happened.
Now,
Nice.
that's awesome, John. I just learned something. I had no idea that Dayton wheels were made in Dayton, Ohio. I do a lot of lowrider companies out here, Homies Hydraulics and a few other ones, and Lowrider Magazine calls me out. So I had no idea.
Yeah. The owner of the
funny.
company is who we leased it from, and in fact, I think it's has since shut down. It's funny because he also makes American Wire wheels, and he was talking about farming all that out to China back when we were in there. Like he's just like, he's just tired of the whole. I guess his employees had the whole mentality, clock in, clock out, do as little as possible, and he's like, hey, if this is the way it's going to be, I'm going to be sending this stuff to China, and I really don't know if he done that, but I do know that the place is up for sale now.
Wow. Now, Daniel, he has a different situation. He actually purchased his location, and his location is beautiful. Why don't you give us a rundown of what you got going on, Daniel? You've been there for quite some time.
Actually, I started my retail location about a year and a half after I got trained. I knew right from the get-go that I wanted a retail location, that I saw it as a way of, again, the end game of retiring. I needed to have a retail location. Looks like Mike has joined us. Hey, Mike.
What's up, dude?
Mike.
So we're talking about shops. So I started my shop in 1994, and it's been continuously going since then. And I'm in my third location, and like you said, my third location in 2007, I purchased my building. And I did that because I wanted to be able to eventually sell my business and rent the building back to whoever I sold the building to. And that was part of my retirement plan. And what I did in all three locations, I paired up with different detailers. And in the location I'm in now, I paired up, I ended up searching out the best guy in my town. And he's just absolutely phenomenal. The guy is unbelievable. He is booked out 6 weeks right now. 6 weeks. People come in, oh, I want to schedule detail for tomorrow. No, we're scheduled 6 weeks out. And so I get a lot of business from him. And that's one of the things, I don't know about you guys, but rent where I'm at is pretty high. I'm sure it's pretty high where you're at, Vince. And it makes more sense to pair up with somebody like that. But you're also gaining whatever clientele they have by doing that. And either a tint business or a detail business, those kind of things really work well together, I think. What do you guys think?
Well, let me ask you
I agree.
something now. Before I put in my opinion there on that, Daniel, I want to ask you, like, what do you like charge them? Because I've thought about this before. I probably wouldn't do it because of my situation, but I've thought about it before about leasing to like another company or something like that. Do you set up like a sublease? And how much do you charge them for the bay, or do you get a percentage of their sales? Like, how exactly would you suggest somebody to structure that?
Well, I've done it different ways. Like the first guy I got in my first building, I owned the detail business, but it was a headache. Detail business is a hard business to do. I mean, you've got picky customers, and it's hard to make everybody happy. And so the second time around, I got a detail and I rented him space, but I took a portion of the sales because I literally started his business for him. And that didn't work out very well either. So the third one, this guy was well established. He had a great name for himself. He was doing phenomenal business. He had a great clientele. So that one, I ended up renting half the building to him. Now, one of the things I got him to do is we had a nice space on the end of the building, and I convinced him to pay for and build a wash bay. We have a 3-tiered oil trap system. We're the only place in Santa Rosa that can do engine degreasing properly. And he spent $40,000 on putting in that wash bay. And I convinced him to do that, and adding to the value of my building. But the relationship,
I saw that.
Yeah,
that thing looks
beautiful.
good. That's awesome.
Yeah. And the relationship has worked really well. And we never argue. And his clientele feeds into my business, and my clientele feeds into his business, and it's a great working relationship.
Okay, I'm beginning to see that PDR, obviously not beginning. I know PDR is the main core of a business. Let me ask you guys this, John Hurley.
You're blown out.
This freaking thing. Do you think that you could actually survive your PDR business in a shop 24/7 without any other add-ons?
Yes, you can, because I've actually done it in the past, and it really depends on, in my opinion, where you're located, how well you're established in your market. So do you have a great reputation? And the third element of that, and there may be more elements, is how advanced can you get in your repairs? I mean, because that's been the big thing for me, is that, I get a lot of people that bring cars to me that they couldn't have taken it, or at least they've tried taking it different places, and they just continuously get told that the whole car needs to be repainted or the bedside needs to be replaced. And absolutely, I mean, there's a way higher profit margin in PDR than there is body repair, than there is auto So I've owned an auto detailing business. I've owned an auto body repair business. I've worked in directly and been partially ownership of a car wash business. And out of all of them, I have never seen profits like it is in the paintless dent removal business. And
I don't. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I don't think. I do not think that you could, in today's day and age. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm having little audio issues here. I'm trying to keep it low. I don't think today's day and age that you can actually completely survive on PDR just by itself. I mean, Vince, you have a shop. Do you think without bumpers, can you do it?
I could do it, but it'd be a bit of a struggle, to be honest with you.
But I don't. I think it. I mean, John, what do you pay for rent? What do you pay for square foot? How much?
You know what? I haven't broken it up per square foot, but I pay about $1,500 a month for my lease here, and that is 1,700 square feet that I have in this building. Got an office, and I can fit about 4 to 5 cars in here comfortably, and and it ultimately amounts to, I know you guys are out there in Southern California, you guys don't see much hail damage. I mean, the numbers that we get alone in hail damage per year could pay for my shop. I could close the doors down during off season, and literally I could travel around and do mobile and only open them when I actually needed to open them for hail damage repair, and I would still be above and beyond. I mean, you got to think about it, okay? So I'm talking about $1,500 a month, okay? So what is that, like $15,000, $16,000, $17,000, whatever, $18,000 a year, plus, utilities and all that stuff. So whatever, $25,000 a year. I mean, we're talking 3 hail damage cars. So if I land 3 to 4 hail damage cars, I am in business. And I've paid for my location, so it's really relative to where you're located. So,
yeah, hail cars, that changes the game quite a bit. Obviously, us three, we don't get that.
Well, that's the thing. It's the best money that I have never seen anything in any industry that one guy can turn out so much money, especially when you get really good at hail damage, and turn such a profit. I mean, there's a lot of businesses, man. They don't get to stick cash in their pocket, man.
Now you haven't seen any hail this year for yourself, right?
Oh yeah,
Not yet.
I probably get at least I'd say I at least do 2 hail damage cars a month. So we're probably turning at least 10,000 every month in hail, regardless. And then what we'll do is we'll hit a big streak. So like last year, we probably hit 2 months where we build out about 100 for each month in hail. So essentially, last year being a really light hail damage year, we built out 200 in hail last year, plus our annual probably 10,000 a month before that.
Okay.
All right, Doug, just want to see how is it now?
You are good so far, my friend.
Yeah, so hopefully it doesn't blow up.
Hey, and this is not being edited, so there you go.
Dude, why don't you unplug and just plug into your computer directly?
Yeah, can't you jump on the your little run and gun mic?
Someone's okay.
No,
Nope.
dude,
What?
you sound horrible.
So, anyways, I'm a little bit over 1,600 square feet, and I pay $1 a square foot. So, and then I have to pay for water, $30 a month, flat rate. It doesn't matter how much water I use. So, when I initially got my shop, I moved in with a detailer, and the detailer was well known within his industry and his area, and had his own clientele. And as Daniel said, I fed off of his customers and vice versa. Mainly me feeding off of him, because he did clear bra as well, and people would have to have their bumpers painted or their dents out before he did the clear bra and put the clear bra on. So it wasn't highly profitable off of him, but I did make money off of his clientele.
Go ahead.
Nope.
Well, here's another thing to think about, and if you do share a shop with somebody, one of the things that I do is I share the advertising. So when we do, like, let's say a magazine for car shows is a popular one that we like to advertise for. We'll buy a full page and we'll split that page, and we'll have him at the top and me at the bottom, or vice versa, and we share the cost of that, and we do that throughout our advertising, which helps quite a bit, and of course sharing all the utilities as well. So there's lots of advantages of sharing all those costs.
Right.
Yeah. So we ended up outgrowing each other, and we parted ways 2 months ago. So I have my shop all to myself now, and I do strictly PDR out of there and bumper repair, painting, spot painting, and things like that.
Yeah, you really want to do your research and pick the right person that you're partnering with.
That is definitely key, because I do say we parted ways because we outgrew each other, but towards the end we weren't really getting along either.
Right. And something I want to mention to everybody, whenever you do go into a shop, there are going to be a lot of little expenses. I mean, your insurance is going to go up. That's one, okay, for sure. You're going to obviously have, utilities and things like that. But I want to caution people, okay, about something, because I got involved with a uniform service. The name of the company is Airmark, and you guys have this company out in California as well.
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
these companies will screw you. They will take you to the cleaners every chance they can possibly get. So I'm actually stuck riding out a contract with these guys, and I'm pretty much having them strip everything down. So I'm going to be paying money for 3 years for practically nothing. But man, I'll tell you, that's a mistake that I want you guys to learn from. So I signed a contract with them and got it all going and this and that. And soon to realize that every time you turn around, they've got stipulation in their contract where they can just hit you with this fee or that fee and this fee and that fee. So if you ever decide to end up getting stuck with one of them type of companies, just know that you're giving them be smarter than I was in that perspective. Because
keep your overhead low.
Yeah.
That happened to me with the credit card machine company. I ended up signing a lease, and I paid thousands and thousands of dollars for my first credit card machine. I was so pissed off at myself that I did that. That was the worst thing I could have done. And I could have bought the friggin' machine for like $500 used if I was smart enough, but I didn't do that.
But that's
So
the
be
thing.
careful.
You want to learn from our mistakes, and
Absolutely.
that's key. Now, I'll tell you guys a little something as well. Whenever I opened up this location, being in a city, one of the things that you got to look for is will the city allow you to open up in that specific location? Is that location zoned for your type of business? So that's number one. Number two, before you sign a lease, you might want to go into the building code inspector or however they do it in your specific city and talk to them about any of the new regulations that your business is going to have to follow. You know, for instance, we had these, I opened up my front shop up here, and then I leased out another building behind me. Well, when I opened up this shop, it was easy breezy. Went in, gave my paperwork, got my occupancy license, made sure the exit signs were rolling, this and that, boom, good to go. So I go to open up my location back here behind me, and a new guy's in there, and come to find out, he is a parking Nazi, okay? So he is like in the German, you know, he's an Adolf Hitler of where to park and how to park the cars. And he ended up, had all these stipulations, like all the parking lines for your customer parking had to be like 18 feet long, and they had to be like so many feet away from each other. And he said that I didn't have enough.
Yeah, you want to stay
like,
away from that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So he tells me I don't have enough legal parking and all this kind of stuff. And so I'll tell you what I did. All right. So I was actually reading a book from what's his name? He's the 5-minute guy. I'll come up to it later. But I was reading a book, and in this specific motivational book, it said always be the little kid, like the little kid on the playground. So you know the bully who goes up and picks on the little kid, and that little kid just comes out fighting. Each and every time that bully picks on him, that little kid fights to his death, right? So you guys know what I'm talking about. That kid on the playground when you was growing up, that one kid, okay? So what happened? The bully moved on, and he picked on somebody else who was an easier target because he didn't want a full-on war on his hands every time he picked on this one kid, right? So, you know, it's Tim Ferriss. Yeah, it's like one of Tim Ferriss' books. And so I went down there, man. So I went down there the first day, and I've got a list of questions for this guy, right, that's sitting behind the desk, the city zone guy. And my list of questions just went on and on. So I'm in his office for an hour and a half. I'm taking notes. I'm asking him question after question after, politely asking him questions, being nice about it, telling him, oh, yeah, you know, a bad apple comes along. We got to make sure that doesn't happen, you know, and then I understand that. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. So he answers everything. He tells me to do this. I come back, and he goes, email me next time. I'll just get everything back to you on email. And I say, oh, yeah, okay. So the next day, guess who's knocking at his door? Clunk, 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 clunk. It's me again. And I've got another list of questions. So I started bantering this guy, and in a polite way. I told him, I said, dude, you're doing a great job, man. I understand this is a great community. It's the nicest community outside of Dayton. And you're trying to keep it up, man. And I don't want no bad apples in here either, but let's talk about this again. And I just came at him and came at him and came at him. 2 days later, guess who gets an email saying that, okay, so we all know Mike's back in now. Yeah, can we hear you?
So 2 days later, John.
So 2 days later, I get an email from this guy saying that they have looked at my zoning again, and they have figured that I do actually have enough parking. So it was a mistake. And they made a mistake, and I have enough parking, and they approved my occupancy license because I was the dude who, look, I wasn't rude about it, guys. I didn't come down calling him an asshole. I went down there and politely asked him a million questions, and he seen my face every day, and he just gave in.
Yeah.
You have to be careful because they don't know how to zone us. Well, are you a body shop or are you a detail shop? What are you? They don't have a category for us.
What I did was when that came up, I quickly told them because he asked, "What are you doing?" Paintless dent removal. Nothing about bumper repair or painting or anything like that because I knew that was going to be a big no-no. So I said paintless dent removal, and he's like, "Well, I don't know what that is." Blah blah blah. I said it's like window tinting. It's the same permit that you would issue a window tinter. We don't have any chemicals. We don't have anything but tools in our hands. And he's like, oh, okay, no problem. So he
Yep,
wrote it
that's
up in
perfect.
the same zoning as window tinting. And I think that's definitely a key thing to remember, because they're not going to know how to categorize paintless dent removal, no matter where you are in the country, really.
Yeah, that's important. Remember that, guys. So moving on to one of the things that I think it's important for guys to know is that you make the most money when you're doing constant work. So if you're opening up a shop and you're trying to do everything, if you're trying to answer the phones, you're trying to greet people, you're writing estimates. One of the things that I found is I finally hired somebody to do all my estimates for me. And it kind of came by accident. I ended up hiring this girl that grew up in the auto body industry. Her dad owned a body shop, so she's been around cars. Her name's Tony. I call her Tony the Tiger, and she's about 4'2". And one day I hired her as a bookkeeper, and she was working at a body shop. And one day she picked up the estimate sheet, and she went out and gave an estimate, and she came back. I go, "What'd you do?" And she goes, "Well, I gave that guy an estimate." And I looked at the sheet, and I go, "Oh, shoot, that's higher than what I would have charged. Keep going." And it worked out great. So, guys, when you go to open up a shop, look for somebody to do your estimates for you. You're going to be making most of your money out in the shop. It's better to, I think, hire somebody that can do the books and estimates. I got really lucky, but if you do your due diligence out there, you can find the same thing. So look in the auto body industry for somebody like that.
I think that's a good point, Daniel, because I was talking about John. I was talking to John about this before we went on the air, and I yield on Mondays are my busiest days on the phone and phones, and I yield anywhere between 30 and 40 phone calls, and equally the same text messages and emails as well. So it gets very distracting when you're trying to make money pushing dents and having to answer a text message conversation or trying to answer the phone, or someone walks in the door. And I'm not to that level yet that I could hire someone comfortably, because I'm cheap, not just with tools, but with other aspects. But it is nerve-wracking, and I do come home spent at the end of the day, especially Mondays. My wife knows don't go near me on a Monday.
Right.
But see, here's a perfect situation where I'm sharing that cost of that gal. She does the bookworks for myself and for the detail business.
Now, how do you pay her, Daniel? Do you pay a percentage of the sales? Do you pay an hourly rate? I mean, how would a guy expect to hire somebody and pay him?
I pay her an hourly rate, and that's worked for her. I pay her, like, I think $22 an hour for doing bookkeeping, estimating for everything, and then I share that cost with the detailer, so it's like $11 an hour is what I pay her.
Oh, that's another good reason to have somebody in your shop, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Good deal. Well, hey, guys, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break here, and we'll be right back with you.
You veteran PDR techs thinking about getting into motorcycle PDR, or perhaps you already are, but you don't have that professional stand. Well, the new Daniel Grom MPDR Vice 2.0 offers the ultimate gas tank setups with better leverage, stability, and access when it comes to those challenging dents. Order your MPDR Vice Stand 2.0 at motopdr.com.
All right, everybody, we are back. So,
Hey,
Mr. Mike Toledo, we'd like to hear and see if you're good, brother. You don't think so? Okay. So Mike's going to hang out
talk
here,
to us.
y'all. He's going to just motion at us, and he wants to hang out in here, but having a few audio problems, so we'll get her figured out and get her dialed in. You know, when your office looks like a spaceship, guys.
Yes.
And like you have all these like plugs everywhere, and just imagine sitting surrounded with big circuit boards with big lines and spaceships and plugins and all this stuff.
It's the command center.
I mean, there's bound to somebody's going to do something, and somehow something's going to go bad eventually. So,
Well, you know, he can't talk to us right now, so I can talk crap on him. Oh, there he is. All right.
we're getting him a little bit. He's here in spirit, so he's probably making sure we don't say anything bad about his shoes or something like that one podcast. And it was kind of funny, guys, because like we were being selfish pigs, like, you know how we can be sometimes. and we didn't say why Mike was gone. But then when he was listening to it, the only thing he heard was us saying that he was wearing Z coils, and
Yes.
so he gave us some flack about that the next day.
Well, Mike has spent like a gazillion dollars on his setup, and he's the one that we can't hear. Come on, Mike, say something.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. But I also want to talk to you guys a little bit because ultimately, man, we're sitting here pumping up having a shop being such a great thing, and for me, you know what? It is good. It is good, but I still do sit back and I reminisce on the days whenever I was doing PDR as more of a lifestyle type business. And I'm going to tell you guys what I was actually doing before I got into a shop. So I was fully mobile, and I was full on retail. Now, I had a few little body shops here and there, but for the majority of it, 90% I was house-to-house retail. Many of you guys who have watched the Dent Trainer video of me doing our retail route and going from house to house, that's what I did each and every day. And the really cool thing about that was that I could make my own schedule, and I was only working Monday to Thursday, or I was working Tuesday to Friday, which actually gave me a lot of time, a lot of family time when my son was at an earlier age to take him to the zoo, to go on vacations, to do all these kind of things. And you just don't have that flexibility when you're anchored to a shop. Like, literally, there's days that I'm like, dude, I don't even want to come in, but I'm like, well, the shop's got to go. So I got to get up and I got to go in and get moving. But otherwise, doing it mobile is more of a lifestyle type choice, in my opinion.
But what's funny is now that I've squeezed out most of my route, I've only got like a couple body shops left. I love being in my shop. I mean, I really enjoy having every tool that I have at my access, having air, be able to just do a lot more type of bigger dents because I have everything I need, and I have a great controlled environment. And you'll get into having a shop. It can be very, very enjoyable. And I thought I would miss being out on the road, and now I gripe and groan every time I have to go out, especially if I run across a dent and I don't have all my tools there or the right tool I want to use. It gets frustrating,
Yeah, and when you have a shop, you have your regular customers that come in and just kind of shoot the breeze with you too. And I have that. I really enjoy that too. And that's one thing that you don't get when you're mobile. I'll be there at the shop, and next thing you know, a customer will come in, or the shop next door will come over and talk to you and hang out. And we have barbecues once a month with the other shops in the area, and it is good. And there is a camaraderie that happens at the shop. I'm still not 100% to the point where I love my shop day in and day out like Daniel. But Daniel, your shop is dialed into the T, man. You've been there many years. It's definitely a second home to you. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it was a long road.
Sure. It doesn't happen overnight.
No, it doesn't. Because all the stuff that I have costs a lot of money.
Yeah, it costs a lot of money. You got gas pumps and signage and really cool stuff. Go ahead, Mike. Come on, Mike, say something.
I'm going to try to control my volume. How's that? Is it good?
Yeah, why don't you just plug it straight into the USB, right into your computer?
It's not that simple. So, because I've got the mixer and I've got I'd have to change 15 settings. Can you hear that? Is it good?
Yeah, we could hear you fine.
Yeah, not bad.
I think Daniel Groms is right in a way. And as you get older, you're going to, I cannot get through. You're going to,
so all I hear is Daniel's older, so like I'll take that, man. When you get older, like you get like Daniel and you don't want to do anything. Is that what Mike was going to say? I'm going to finish his thing. Mike was saying that when you're old like Daniel, you don't want to get out and do anything.
Mike,
I feel like I have a handicap, but I can't say that.
Dude, call in
this
Skype
is a great
on your
part
phone.
of the show, man.
Plug your microphone into your phone and call us through your phone.
Yeah, like Vince doesn't get that you're using a XLR microphone.
No, he's got his other one. He's got his.
True, man. That's true.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Yeah.
Come on.
Sorry, he's all frustrated.
Yep.
Oh well.
So anyhow,
We
so
still love
Daniel's
Mike.
old and he doesn't like to work, so we got that out. But
Dude, what are you talking about? I worked my freaking butt off, man.
I'm
that's
just saying
the
what Mike
point, man.
said, dude. He gets to see you at your shop.
No,
I'm just
man,
repeating what he said.
It's funny because Mike has his famous "I got 99 problems and a dent ain't one" shirt on. It should say it.
And
I got
Mike.
100 problems and a mic is one right now.
Yeah.
So
It's terrible.
Yo, I do want to go back, though, to what Daniel was saying about being relaxed in a shop. And that is so true. When you do get spoiled from your shop environment, that you have all these tools, every access tool around you. Next thing you know, you got the Mac guy, the Snap-on guy coming through, and you're buying all these toolboxes, and you're filling them up with, I mean, you guys seen it on our PDR tool time. I got an impact gun that could probably take the lug nuts off of a semi. And, you start buying all these, I guess, big tools and better tools because, you got this giant shop that you can fill up with it. And it does become a convenient factor at that point. So I noticed, like, before I was in a shop, would I take off a door out when I was mobile? I just never did. I roughed it. And now I sit here and, like, I got some students here, and we took a door off of a car last week, and we did a repair on it. And we're sitting there looking at it like, could you even imagine doing it on the car? And just the convenience factor alone and the speed alone is very, very nice. So that's the great part about it. But I don't want to neglect some of the great things about being mobile as well. Unlike Daniel and Vince, when I went out, I had this routine of going to these like really cool restaurants that I would stop at during the day, and I had a lot of really good repeat customers that I would go out and check out mobile as well. So I mean, I just had a heck of a good time with it.
Now, another thing with the shop that I think it's important when you do start getting a location is having a nice waiting room area. Having a nice, clean waiting room with a nice, comfortable couch, maybe a TV. I just installed a fish tank last week. Nice, clean bathroom, all those things, because you have to remind yourself sometimes, we're in the appearance business. And appearance is an important thing. When a customer comes in with their Mercedes or their BMW, they're expecting, a higher level of service when they're coming into a shop. And we have our place very clean. Walls look nice, signage on the walls, pictures of nice cars, black leather couch, coffee table. We're very warm and inviting. We always offer water as soon as they walk in while they're filling out their paperwork. Even for an estimate, we'll offer them a bottle of water. Restrooms over there, it's nice and clean. It's not smelly. It doesn't smell like a body shop. It doesn't smell like a dirty mechanic shop with dirty. We have a slop sink where we wash our hands. We don't wash them in the bathroom sink and get it all black and nasty. So I think that's one thing to remember too. Is
bathroom is huge. I can't tell you how many times I get comments from women that they love our bathroom, and it definitely pays off.
It is so funny to hear you guys talk about that. You guys are talking about, I mean, my shop is nice, but it's the exact opposite, like, of what you guys are talking about here. So, like, my shop has me all over it. Like, it just has, like, a really, if you could imagine, like, an old school biker hangout vibe to it, that I'm always playing old country music when people walk in. And I'm just all about being I got to tell you that I'm going against a lot of the traditional rules of marketing, in all honesty, because my shop is more about me than it is the people that come in all honesty. I mean, it's an expression of who I am. So when people walk in, I got like old antiques just laying everywhere. And, people come in and we got like a universal bathroom that the whole building uses. And, dude, to keep this bathroom that the carpet installers use clean, like that's my next door neighbors is a carpet store, would be insane. They got a guy in here. I'm not kidding you. He was nicknamed from the previous owners of this building. Like, I knew his name before I moved in here, and they call him Blast Ass Bill. And we share a bathroom with this guy. And he goes in there and rips that thing apart. And I'll tell you what, if a customer was to walk in there, they wouldn't walk in there, man. Like, you know, I know when I'm out in the hallway, I get 10 feet away from that door. I know Bill's done been in there. And it's such an old school, like old time. I want to visualize, like, I don't know if this is part of growing up an environment. My dad had an old school car lot, you know, sold the most cars out of any place in town. But, you know, he took cash only. It was one of them deals, and he had like this old timer working for him that was drinking beer during the day. They played old country music. They had fish fries. You know, it was just that type of old school environment. And I'll tell you what, I get so many people that come in here that are driving Mercedes, that are driving, and they keep coming back. They're like, man, this place is freaking cool. Like, they just come in there like, I love the music you're playing in here, dude. I see that it's you. And I'm not like, you know, people know me. I got tattoos up and down my arms, up and down my legs. I'm sitting here in shorts and T-shirt, and I just come out and I'm fully on me. And
I think all that is good, John, but I would change
its own charm.
Hey,
I like
its own charm.
The bathroom. I'm sorry, but women.
Well, the women's bathroom is actually pretty decent, really. I mean, the women's bathroom
separate. Is Blast Ass Bill.
It is a separate restroom, totally. Okay, so that we do have, but I'm not kidding you. I'm going to tell you guys this. Everybody out here is going to think this is nasty, but hey, this is my reality. I'm just going to spill it to you. There's a freaking booger wall in that restroom, in the men's restroom, dude. And yeah, there's a booger wall in one of the stalls. And it's been there since I've been here since day one. It's these old carpet installers, man. You ought to see them. They're freaking renegades. Dude, they roll up in these vans, like these old vans. I mean, like give your kids candy type, you know, scary creeper vans. And these renegades go into this restroom, and they started a booger wall in one of the stalls. And somebody wrote, like, on there, they wrote, "Are you guys nasty? Do you guys do this at your home?" And they circled what the person wrote and wrote underneath of it, "Wipe boogers here." And people started wiping boogers on the wall where they circled.
See, I wouldn't tolerate that at all. Sorry. I wouldn't I wouldn't be proud of that one, John.
I'm not proud of it, man. I'm just telling you what it is.
That's
luckily,
you guys hear me?
Luckily, most of the time, people don't ever ask to use the restroom whenever they come in here to begin with. But if they do, hey, you know what? Hopefully they're turned, because you'd have to be sitting on the toilet to actually see this thing. So I'm thinking that, like, number one, a lot of people probably doesn't do number two when they come in there, because it seems like they're not in there very long. So I would imagine a lot of people come through without seeing it.
Yeah, we hear you, Mike.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, stop playing with the mic.
Are you in?
Stop playing with the mic, Mike.
Yes.
Put it down on the table, Mike.
Stop.
Yeah, we hear that, Mike.
Stop fondling your mic.
Are you in, brother? Can you talk? Let's
Come on,
hear it.
say something.
I can't hear myself though.
No, we could hear you just fine. Rock it out, man. Do you have any questions for the shop owners? Any concerns?
Yes, sir.
You hear me?
We
yeah,
can.
go.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, let me get back to my point, dude. with and I agree with Daniel Grom about having a clean bathroom. I would definitely say that. You definitely need to do that, John. Clean that bathroom, dude.
I'm not cleaning that bathroom.
Clean that booger wall.
I am not washing that wall down, dude.
The first guy you hired to help you, he has to clean the booger wall.
Listen, we got so mad about it one day, we took a brownie with like the peanuts and stuff like that in it and shaped it as a fake turd and laid it on Blast Ass Bill's toilet seat. And they left it on there all day. It's like nobody seemed to notice. And, well, you know, hey, shenanigans.
Okay, go ahead, Mike.
Well, I'm going back to your... I think having a shop is awesome. I also think being a mobile tech for so long, you become way more efficient with what you have. You know, you don't have access to a bench grinder. You don't have access to a tool bender all the time unless you put one on the back of your hitch or something like that. You kind of get to know your tools really, really well, and you adapt, or you become a MacGyver or something like that. I'm not saying I don't want that. I wouldn't want to shop. I'm just saying it. You got to kind of give it to the retail guy, the mobile retail guy, because he's got to work with what he's got, and most of these guys, they only got maybe a third or a quarter of the tools that we have. It's almost confusing now that we have so many tools. I don't even know, and probably about 3 or 4 of them each do the same thing in each category. So, but I'm trying to say is going back to your, when you go mobile, it's super convenient. You have freedom. You don't have to be at the shop 24/7 or, during, from 8 o'clock till 6 o'clock at night. That's a big benefit. My thing is, it's hard. It was hard for me for a long time to want to give up that freedom. But in the end, and I think we talked about this before in another podcast, but the only reason why I really want to get a shop is because a brick and mortar really is going to be basically an investment. And just like you said, I think, Daniel, we had discussions on this, and I'm sure you did it, and Vince is doing it. John's done doing it. I've got to make eventually I want to buy my own property. That's the main thing why I want to get a shop. I don't want to get a shop and rent it. That's not my goal. Is I want to get my own building, and eventually, if I do sell it, then I still have some residual income just on that end. Of course, I've got more things planned than that, but and plus, if you do want to sell it, you're probably going to have more of a better chance of selling a shop that has a brick and mortar, something tangible, compared to something just a route. So I see the big benefit of the shop, and I'm getting more like you. I want to relax at a shop and do something, and I'm always shooting videos and whatnot. That's the luxury of having a shop and running your own business that way. But going back to doing PDR, I personally would love to, because I own a bumper repair company as well, but I would like to do, have the whole 9 yards. I just talked to somebody right now talking about ceramic coat. That looks like that's the new big thing right now. So, and you make $1,700 on an application of that, but that's another story. But shop, definitely, I think it's something every technician should consider. Also, it's a big benefit. I think that we need to take that over compared to the body shops, not doing body shop work, but the insurance companies should be looking at PDR companies first with these type of dents, especially if it doesn't have any paint damage. They should be talking to us at the shops, giving it to the PDR companies, and let us delegate it to the insurance company or to the body shops instead of going to the body shop first. They're actually working backwards because they're such an old system. They need to start waking up and looking at the new age modern PDR shops. And that's one of the reasons why I think it's benefit to do that.
Absolutely, Mike. That's a good point, because now I take insurance work in a lot easier. Being mobile, I could probably recall doing an insurance job 2 or 3 times in the last 19 years, where now I have a shop. If it comes in and it's something that's going to be over the deductible, I say, hey, why don't you run this to your insurance? And if there's any room, we might be able to help you on your deductible. But if not, you're going to get a better repair with paintless dent removal rather than taking it to the body shop. And I'm going to keep your car for a few hours rather than you losing it for 5 days at the body shop or a week. So with the shop, I've done quite a few insurance jobs. Not quite a few. I've done a ton of insurance jobs now, and where I'm getting paid directly from the insurance on door dings, on larger dents, things that people would normally think, oh, you can't do that, and they have to take it to the body shop. I take it in. The insurance company, the adjusters comes out, oh, you can't fix that fender, on the body line. Yeah, I can. Absolutely, I can. And you're going to pay me for it. And they'll gladly pay me for it. And I usually come in, I tell them to go write it up as a conventional repair, and they bring me back the estimate, and I say, well, knock $100 off of that, and you won't have to put them in a rental. I'll have it done in a day. And they gladly do it.
Right. So, that is a great advantage of having a shop, guys. And I think we're going to the section right now. We're going to be talking about our tech tips. So before that, I want you to check out this short message. And talking about hail damage repair, put this video on your site, and you're going to be making some cash.
It's right smack hail season now, and what better timing than to have a hail damage video explaining the short and engaging repair process. At Dent Trainer, we just released a new video about the steps a consumer needs to do after the vehicle has been hit with hail. It's called It Hailed, What's Next? A professional video with your company logo and information. For more details and cost, please visit denttrainer.com/store.
Hey, in all reality, fellas, we've been getting feedback. Anybody who bought this video has been coming back to us and letting us know that just putting it on their website, having it on their front page, just makes the consumer realize that, man, they do hail. They are hail specialists, man. If you guys don't have a video for hail on your front page, you guys can't, pay $300, which is ridiculously cheap for a professional video, to score potential $5,000-$6,000 jobs all day. You might want to restack your priorities. You guys will love it. Hit us up at denttrainer.com, and you can pick one of them suckers up. And right now it's on sale, normally $499. You can pick it up currently for $299.
Now, John, before we get into our tech tips, which, of course, I do not have one, do you have any feedback? Any feedback on our podcast going on? Anything new?
Yo, I actually do.
On the pipes.
But I got to go ahead and pull this thing up here.
Then let's have Daniel.
I do.
Do you have
actually, no. I got it right now. So we actually have 2 new reviews. So, we had 17 on our last episode, and now we currently have 19. And that reminds me to say, guys, go and review us. We love it. We love hearing what you got going on. So this guy right here, Unbroken Bible Student. Best up-to-date tool reviews by far. Best ideas and personal tech tips. I think I've listened to every episode a dozen times already. A big thanks to Mike, Vince, Danny, and John. We got another one right here from G Money. So PDR Tool Time is interesting, entertaining, and informative. Every time I listen to, I will learn something new. If you like PDR, you will love these podcasts. And just a heads up, guys, if you guys want us to announce your name on our show and you want to become a PDR Tool Time superstar, hit us up with a review and leave your name down there below, and we'll go ahead and we'll hit you up. And just another heads up, if you could jump on there, give our show some support, hook Vinny up. I mean, he threw down some cash on some T-shirts, and he's looking to deliver them. He's on us like every day, every week. He's hitting us up like, hey, guys, y'all put up some banners to sell some more of them T-shirts. And, we have sold a decent amount of them, but this actually helps us pay for this podcast. So it's not free. Everything that you see here, we've got to pay for it. We had to pay for the website, and it's a continuous maintenance thing. And these T-shirts help support us and pay for the expenses that we have that come out monthly for the podcast. And if we sell enough of them, it's going to pay for us to have a booth at Mobile Tech Expo. And who knows, we might even do a live show. And you might be able to step up and see it going on real time.
Right on.
Awesome.
Mike,
So, tech tips.
we haven't heard from you enough. Come on, Mike.
Let's do
You
the
got a
tech
tech
tip,
tip?
brother. Tech tip it up.
He's got to turn his hat around. He's got to get
Yeah, I got a tech tip.
All right.
It's actually
Go
well,
first.
I got 25 tech tips that you're gonna see on Dent Trainer within. Well, actually, I promise by day after tomorrow. What's today? Monday. But I'm gonna give you guys one right now. It is. Now I got flack from the other day, like not the other day, like maybe 2 weeks ago. One of the people we all know who he is, but I'm not gonna name names, but. He kind of blasted me and said, "Oh, you're gonna put dents in the rail with the glue pulling like that." So what I did is I had a mini lifter and I was showing I was pulling this nasty dent out on this rail. But when I use a mini lifter and I really want to get an isolated snap hard pull, and to me a slide hammer just doesn't always give me that consistently. It can, but not consistently. So what I do is I use the mini lifter, and what I do is I hold it, the base from the side with my palm more resting on the rail. As I'm about to squeeze, I lift my hand with the mini lifter up so the feet are not making contact on the rail. So just as I'm about to snap it, I'm lifting up the mini lifter with my left hand and snapping with my right hand as I'm pulling up. So I don't never let those feet actually touch the base. of that curve. This works really good on those Honda rails. Like they have that round rail with the body line in it. You guys see me say PDR glue gone bad. So I wasn't paying attention and didn't take my own advice one time, and I put that on Dent Trainer and showed how I fixed that problem. But in most cases, I use that tip and hold the mini lifter as I'm getting ready to squeeze the trigger. What is that called? I always get messed up. What is that? The handle? Squeezing the handle?
Yep.
And I lift up. I lift the whole thing up slightly as I pull at the same time, so I don't make those contact with the feet. And it doesn't matter if the feet are super soft anyways. You will dent that rail and create 2 more lows on each side. So check that tip out. If you really have to use a mini lifter and get a good strong pull, use that technique.
Nice.
I find the Kiko lifter is the best one that doesn't leave dents.
Are you talking the Kiko, the Robo Lifter? Or are you talking about
the Robo Lifter,
the silver one?
The Robo Lifter. I think they have the best feet of all the lifters, in my opinion.
Right.
And does the least amount of that damage.
Actually, I like Dent Gear's. I like Dent Gear's feet. They're pretty good.
So what you got
really
going on,
soft.
Daniel? You want me to do it, or you want to do it?
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna go on and move forward. I had a little motivational tech tip last week, but I'm gonna step up and do one more. And I want to talk to you guys about in your community about scalability of yourself in general. So here's what I'm talking about here. Is, for instance, I go and I do a little bit of networking locally in the community, which was an awesome idea because it put me in a position to meet a lot of business owners, and I'm involved in a couple mastermind groups. We get together early in the morning, we discuss business, and it's real strategic. So essentially, I've surrounded myself with some high-caliber people that are good, that are humble people, the type of people that I would roll with. And, I've done that by networking in the community. But here's something I want you guys to think about, something new that I'm doing right now. And something that I've been doing for a long time. It's not necessarily about how many people know you, okay? Or I'm sorry, it's not necessarily about how many people you know. Everybody says it's all about who you know. It's all about who you know. Okay, well, who you know is not scalable, okay? So you can only know about a couple hundred people, and then after that, you're juggling relationships, you're forgetting about people and this and that. It's more about who knows you. So I want you guys to, over this week, think about some marketing methods that you guys can get out into your community and more people can get to know who you are without you knowing them. You see, because that's scalable. Thousands upon thousands of people can know who you are without you exactly knowing who they are. So again, I want you guys to think about that, and something that I'm personally doing, I'm actually doing a local business podcast right here in the Dayton area, and you guys are going to hear a little bit about this. I'm actually doing it with a friend of mine that's owned a couple basketball team and a baseball team, and he's been in business for a long time as a commodity trader, and now he owns a big business coaching type deal, and he's a very good friend of mine, and we consult with each other, and we've been doing this podcast, and what we're going to do is we're going to launch it in the business community and actually give the business people that we do interviews with, and I'm talking about big business people in this area, we're going to give them multimedia packets to actually share. So again, we're scaling. So we're taking these guys and we're interviewing them, and we're pushing it out into the community designed to bring up other entrepreneurs. And in that whole process, their friends are going to get to know who we are. So it's like a win-win situation. It's like we're going to be delivering value, and within that value, people are going to get to know us in the process. So it's real interesting. We actually have a goal within a year to have a billboard on Interstate 75. And, hey, don't hold me to it, but hold me to it. You know what I mean? So hopefully we see that come full front.
Cool. All right. So here's my tech tip. Is I was on the Snap-on truck the other day, and they have a socket holder, a magnetic socket holder, and it's really lightweight plastic. They're inexpensive, but they make great tip holders, and especially for some of the bigger tips. So like the red tips from Dentcraft fit in the bigger socket holes, the big red balls, or any of the black rubber balls ones that Keith Constantino sells. they fit in the big slots, and then you go down, down the row, and you don't have to, screw them into a tip holder. That drives me nuts. And it's magnetic on the bottom, so it'll sit on your tool cart and stay, not move anywhere. And they're inexpensive, and you can buy multiple colors and whatnot. So there's my tech tip.
I think. Well, you've seen the new magnetic tip holder, right, Daniel?
I have seen one.
Works awesome.
I don't got one.
It works awesome. One. I would like to talk next time probably about tools you would like to see. Yeah. I would really. I have a bunch of different ideas, and I know we're going over a little bit, but one of the ideas I have, and I think I talked to James about it, seeing if he says he had something similar in the works, but I had a Snap-on cup holder, magnetic, okay? But it's not the type of magnetic, it's like a soft foam magnetic that connects to your tool cart. Well, that sucker would be awesome if you had that base like that, and then maybe a lock line that comes out, and then you could put your tabs on top. So when you're up on a roof or something like that, or up on a rail, you don't have to keep bending over to your tool cart or reaching over to your tool cart. It's right there in front of you. And that would be something cool. Or attach a suction cup to it, base, which is just something kind of like a little waiter tray, so that you can just adjust it and move it to where you want. But I'd like to see some tools like that being innovated. And I was watching this guy who does a lot of camera stuff, man. He comes out with the most innovative camera stuff. And the guy goes, how do you come out with such innovative products? I mean, you're just thinking way out of the box. He goes, I think about things that I don't concentrate on stuff that's already there. I think about things that aren't. I think about things that we need, that we're missing, that would make it better. And I was like, man, that's exactly what you need to do. You need to concentrate on stuff that would make it better.
Well, that kind of leads into one other thing I wanted to talk about is, Vinny, do you have a tech tip first?
I do.
Tech it up.
Okay, let's do your tech tip, and then we'll finish off with what I want to talk about. Go ahead.
Well, my tech tip is I'm ashamed to say that I've just kind of discovered this in the last year, maybe two. I don't. For years, I've always used my rods, just the tip of the rod, to fix the dent. And it dawned on me 2 years ago when we were at MTE and Kaz's son was there with the craziest looking tools I've ever seen. I don't know if you remember that, Daniel and Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was kind of suitcasing it under Dent Technologies booth where he had these crazy looking snake tools. And I looked at it, I'm like, well, why is the bottom sharp? And why is the bottom pointy? And why is this? Why is that? And then it dawned on me that I have not been using my tools to their full potential. I do not use the backside of a tool. On a double bend, you have 3 different positions that you could use that tool with. It's not just the tip of the tool, but it's the back of the tool. It's the bend of the tool. You have a softer push. And so I started using Tesa tape on those parts as well. So I'm not just... I might, where before I would have been grabbing for 2 or 3 different tools. Now, a lot of the times, if I'm through a wiring harness or through a manufactured hole, I will start a dent off using the backside of the rod first, and then flip it over and finish off the dent with the tip of the tool. And it saves a lot of time and energy. And I can't believe I went so many years, a couple decades. I can't believe
it either. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
a couple decades of not using. And so
the heel.
Here I am as a veteran technician, not having that dawn on me for 20 years. So I'm letting other technicians know that might not know that. Use the backside of your tool.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you were the dent wizard. That's why, dude. So.
Well, that's probably why. It might have been a dent wizard thing.
I'm just kidding.
Cool. So one of the last things I want to bring up is UltraDent Tools has announced their tool contest. So you can go on their website and you can sign up if you have a tool idea. You can get paid for your tool idea and get help with launching that idea that's been in the back of your mind, perhaps. And I think they're giving away what, 10 grand or something like that.
Now,
a bunch of other prices.
Daniel, Steve
What's that?
released that on our show now, didn't he? When he was here, he actually announced that.
But he
So now-
launched it last week.
Okay.
It's official, and need to go on there and read all the rules
Nice.
and whatnot. But we're going to be the judges. We're going to be helping him out, and you have until I think November to come up with your idea and go on there and read the rules. We'll talk about it more later on in different shows. But I just wanted to kind of just put it out there. Go check it out. And if you've got a tool idea, get on there.
Nice. Sounds great. Sounds great. So anyhow, guys, we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. And what you say, Daniel?
Level up your tools.
And join the revolution.
Say kids, what is PDR tool time?